Listen up, Trump just did a morning hit with Fox and Friends, which means that you and I get to sit back and watch as the endless rivers of cope stream by. I mean, Trump genuinely said during this interview he is the most stable man on the planet. He also insists that VP Harris was destroyed by Bret Baier the other night, and he's treated like a child throughout the entire interview. He's treated like the absolute infant that he is by the Fox News hosts. From the second that he walks into the studio to the second that he leaves, they talk to him in the same tone that I speak to my dog in. And honestly, he deserves it. They treat him like a baby because he has a childlike understanding of the world around him, and all of his solutions to problems are infantile, are childlike at best. So, Donald Trump during this interview gets basically praised by 4 people, and we'll break it all down. Make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe. We have 18 days to go and no time to waste. Let's start with this clip of Donald Trump admitting that he defund public schools, and I want you to listen to what Kilmeade says. Listen very closely because it actually kind of blew me away.
It's not anything to do with school choice, also. Okay. But also, separate from school choice, we're going to take the Department of Education, close it. I'm going to close it. We'll have one person, could be you if you decide to retire.
Okay, Mr. President, here's what bothers me. Here's what bothers me about that. So let's say you have a liberal city, let's Los Angeles, San Diego, and they just decide we're going to get rid of that history. We got new history. This is America built off the backs of slaves on stolen land. And that curriculum comes in.
Then we don't send them money. We would save half.
What does he mean, new history? Let me play this one more time and listen to what Kilmeade says.
History. We got new history. This is America built off the backs of slaves on stolen land.
America was built off the backs of slaves on stolen land, and we do learn about that in schools. That is not new history. That is exactly what happened, and in that response, he kind of gives away the entire game. When they say they want to leave it up to the states, that's the same argument that they made during the Confederacy. That's the same argument that the Confederate states made to try to justify slavery. So, I'm sure red states like Alabama, like Missouri, would say, we're not teaching about no damn slavery. Meanwhile, blue states would probably react to that and say, okay, we're going to double down. And then it would create this entire division in America that is already very bad. But even beyond that, the idea of defunding the Department of Education, number one, makes sense because Donald Trump can barely read. Watch this clip right here.
The 2 candidates for president are supposed to exchange good-natured barbs. And you know, we get along very well. I didn't like Biden very much, and now I like him quite a bit. You know,
I see why he wants to defund the Department of Education, because he wants everybody to be as dumb as him. Throughout this entire dinner, he's reading.
When you do,
he's essentially sounding words out. But even beyond that, the reasons why we shouldn't defund the Department of Education, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know what I'm about to say. There are a plethora of reasons, including the fact that it will disproportionately impact low-income students. You'll be denying updated curriculum, updated technology to students in need. I mean, right now, students are working with iPads in some of the richer school districts, and students don't even have technology in some of the poorer school districts. Wealth inequality in America manifests in our school systems in very unique ways. And what I'm saying is, if you remove funding from the Department of Education, you further that wealth inequality. Not to mention the teacher layoffs, the salary cuts for teachers, the decline in educational quality. You make America less competitive on the global stage because you don't have an educational standard. Then countries like Japan or countries like China, which really prioritize their education, begin to beat us. It is a very competitive world out there, and Trump wants to make us less competitive. So all in all, to summarize, this first clip is wild to me, not only because of what Brian Kilmeade says about slavery, but because the entire premise is false and dangerous. And can I show you this clip of Donald Trump being treated like an absolute child? From the second that he walks into the studio, they have their hand on his back like he's an elderly man who has trouble walking, and then when they go to clip on his mic, they speak to him in the same way that I speak to my dog. And then when Trump goes to sit down, I want you to watch closely because they aid him in sitting down. They aid him. Watch.
I'm the official audio guide for today. You have, Mr. President, welcome back.
You have so many jammers with you, we can't even use.
I know, we have to use these hard lines.
Let's put it right here, like that.
Okay.
Very good.
Good job. Wow.
All right,
Glad you're
and
here.
we'll all sit down. 3, 2, 1. There we go. How are you?
I'm good. This is very nice.
Big night last night.
I've never sat in the middle.
It's great, right?
always
I don't
sat
think
on-
anyone,
It's the
no
first.
one sat in the middle.
I've never seen anybody sitting in
You've
the
got
middle.
the really good light.
This is the good lighting.
Maybe this is some sort of norm that I'm missing, but when Donald Trump goes to sit down, I find it very odd how they essentially aid him. What is the purpose in aiding Trump sitting down? The part that isn't that weird is the fact that a Fox News host is putting on a mic. As someone who works in production all the time, sometimes you gotta be putting on the mic like that. But the weird part is the way that he speaks to Donald Trump. Donald Trump does nothing but stand there like an awkward lump, and this dude says, good job, very good job.
Right here,
I do.
like that.
Okay.
Very good.
Good job.
Very good. That's what I say to my dog after I give him a treat and he does 3 spins or whatever. That's not what you say to the... Trump almost looks at him in an offended way right there. Look at, and then he aids him down.
Wow.
All right.
Glad you're
And
here.
we'll all sit down. 3, 2, 1. There we go.
I wonder, is there some norm that I'm missing here where if you're on a show, you're on some public show, then you get aided and said, am I missing something here, or is Trump just that old? We have more clips of Trump to play, but I want to show you this clip of Elon Musk straight up mirroring Donald Trump's divisive, apocalyptic rhetoric, talking about the Democrats, saying to hell with them, referring to half of the country, and also saying that some of us are beyond gone in other clips.
Yeah, and I think the things we all want are sensible, I think common sense things. We obviously want secure borders. We want safe cities. Sensible spending, so that we don't have crazy inflation. We want freedom of speech. We want the Constitution to be upheld. And I'm being told at times that these are like right-wing values. I'm like, are you insane? This is literally the fundamental values that made America what it is today.
Okay, so this clip made me facepalm and cringe for the very obvious reason that Elon Musk is completely lying. Let's go through and debunk everything he's saying. First of all, his entire premise is that only Republicans want safe cities, only Republicans want less spending or a secure border. We had a bill by Langford to secure the border. Trump told Congress to shoot it down even though it had bipartisan support. So who wants secure borders? Really? Also, when it comes to deficit spending, Trump increased the debt by $8 trillion. Biden only half that, $4 trillion in the same amount of time. What else did he say? He said safe cities. You think Democrats don't want safe cities? Is that a position that you're taking? He then talks about preserving the Constitution, which I think he's trolling at that point because Trump is the one who has talked about terminating the rules and laws, even those found in the Constitution. Trump tried to subvert the Electoral Count Act. Trump tried to subvert the Constitution with John Eastman. Trump has every step of the way stomped on the Constitution, and I won't stand for Elon Musk's gaslighting. Here's Trump claiming to be the most stable human being.
I am the most stable human being. Remember they said a stable genius. I am the most stable human being. I've been doing this for a long time.
You said that about yourself, Trump. He always does this. It's actually a pretty clever tactic. I'm going to start doing that. Like, imagine I'm on a date with a girl and I'm like, yeah, they say I'm the best boyfriend. Everybody says that. Basically, everybody says that. All the scholars say that. And she's like, oh, like, can you name one? Who said that? And I'm like, well, I actually came up with that a few hours back, but everybody's going to be saying. That's what Trump does. He comes up with something and then he claims that everybody is saying it. It's actually a pretty clever tactic if you're a slimy salesman. I have another clip to play of Trump, but I do want to show you our pro-democracy candidate, Kamala Harris. Watch her absolutely roasting hecklers. You guys have seen this clip, but I want to play it one more time.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
That joke landed more than all of Trump's jokes last night combined at the Al Smith dinner. Here's Trump saying that Fox News didn't air negative ads about him, and now they do. And how I take this is him using his position, leveraging his position as someone who has power over Republican voters to try to pressure Fox News on air. It's like a mob boss tactic. Watch this clip.
The question.
But you know the difference? In the old days, you never played negative ads. In other words, when I leave here, I'll then be hit by 5 or 6 ads. And in the old days, you never had Ian
Fox
Sams.
News?
Yeah. Well, in the old days. But in the old days, which wasn't so... when I leave, I'll have 12 people from Kamala on, and, you know, pretty much unopposed. For 19 days, I don't think we should do that anymore. I think you shouldn't play negative ads. It's very tough. You do a show, and I complain all the time about it. I love complaining. I love complaining. I like to have everything perfect.
We know, Trump.
But when I leave here, I'll have 200 people from
Because they buy time on Fox.
And, you know, by the time you do it, you say, what are you doing? It's sort of a net,
Right.
neutral.
Well,
we'll see what happens.
That's kind of funny that Trump calls it out as a net neutral. I'd say it's a net negative because basically watching Trump anytime is like a negative ad against him because he's always self-destructing on stage. But Brian Kilmeade actually points out the underlying business mechanisms going on. He says near the end, it's because they buy time on Fox.
People from
because they buy time on Fox.
So Donald Trump, the free market capitalist who apparently has made millions of dollars on his own, we know that's not true, doesn't understand the free market when it comes to buying advertisements. He wants Fox News to turn down most likely millions of dollars in revenue just to please Donald Trump. That's not how it works. Pay them the most, and yeah, Democratic campaigns pay a unique amount of money to run anti-Trump ads on Fox News. That is free market capitalism, baby. That is called competition. That is called winning in the free market, and Trump wouldn't know anything about that because he's a loser. Here's Trump pointing out that without abortion, the women love me.
I think I do very well with women, and I think it's all nonsense. I see the polls, and we do well.
What about the
You
Nikki
have
Haley?
one issue. You have the issue of abortion. Without abortion, the women love me. Now, they like me anyway because what I've done is so good. I've taken this issue out of the federal.
Okay, first of all, this is not even true. Donald Trump was hated even before the overturning of Roe because of his abrasive rhetoric, to say the least. Let's just call it misogynistic rhetoric, his leaked recordings of the Hollywood Access tapes. But what Donald Trump is saying is totally dumb for a few reasons. He's basically saying, yeah, if you remove the fact that I stripped healthcare away from millions of women and ruined some women's lives, caused some women in Georgia and other states to die, increased the infant mortality rate, yeah, if you remove that variable, then women like me. In the same way that if you remove all of the murders that Ted Bundy committed, then he was sort of a sweetheart who would have just been loved by women if you remove that one simple variable, the fact that he murdered dozens of people. I want to show this clip of Bill Clinton. He's looking a little bit old, but it's okay. Let's watch.
I don't know how many more elections I'll be involved with, and I'm too old to gild the lily. Heck, I'm only 2 months younger than Donald Trump. But good news for you is I will not spend 30 minutes swaying back and forth to you.
Bill Clinton has been killing it on the campaign trail lately. This clip is even better. This one went viral.
And he keeps talking about how he wants to get even and may have to call out the military on our own people. The danger within. I suppose that includes me. And I mean, basically, he's asserted the right to go after anybody that he thinks, in his wisdom, is a threat, right? You sign the oath says you promise to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And he said, I think I'll start with domestic.
That's a really good one. Bill Clinton still has his charisma. He still has his spark. Here's Trump concluding his Fox and Friends interview by saying that he's going to meet with Rupert Murdoch to tell him Fox shouldn't allow negative ads.
First, you're going to be back on the campaign. Actually, you got another event to go to. So
yeah,
thank you for giving us some time.
You know what the event I have now?
No.
A very big event. I'm going to see Rupert Murdoch.
Okay.
That's a big event. I don't know if he's thrilled that I say it.
Yeah, please tell him we all said thank you.
I'm going to tell him something very simple because I can't talk to anybody else about it. Don't put on negative commercials for 21 days. Don't put them. And don't put on their horrible people that come and lie. I'm going to say, Rupert, please do it this way.
Right.
And then we're going to have a victory because I think everyone wants to have
And
a
you're
victory.
going to Outkick next. It's a great channel that we have with Tyrus.
Oh, good.
There you go.
Okay, so the thing here is the Fox hosts are laughing when Trump says this, but Trump is not kidding. He's not kidding in the slightest. As you're watching this, as we're speaking, depending on what time you're watching this, he's probably talking to Rupert Murdoch right now and saying, hey, you got to stop running these ads. He's going to say what he just said there. We have 21 days to go. Don't you want me to win, man? Don't you want me to win? And here's the thing. Donald Trump does have a lot of leverage. He has a lot of leverage, and he's essentially a kingmaker right now within the Republican Party. I hate to say that about him, but when he has all of the Republican voters wrapped around his base, he can endorse a candidate, whether it's someone as bad as Mark Robinson. He can endorse a candidate, whether it's somebody like Oz back in Pennsylvania, and that candidate gets the MAGA support. The MAGA fan base coalesces around that candidate, and oftentimes it's not enough for that candidate to win. Just look at Oz versus Fetterman. But what I'm saying is that when Donald Trump has all of this a leverage over the Republican fan base, he can then look at Rupert Murdoch in the eyes and say, I'll tell people to stop watching Fox News. Donald Trump has already told people to stop watching Fox News, and it's worked. It's manifested on the ground. When I'm at these rallies, people will say, you know, Fox News is too far left. Donald Trump even says Fox News is too far left, so I only watch Newsmax and OAN. Donald Trump is using mob box tactics to try to pressure Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, and just the Fox News hosts. I mean, you think Brian Kilmeade is the one really making decisions behind the scenes? That's why he's going all the way to Rupert Murdoch, and he's gonna say, we have 21 days to go. Stop playing these ads. Trump is actually going to say what he says here.
Very simple, because I can't talk to anybody else about. Don't put on negative commercials for 21 days. Don't put them, and don't put on their horrible people that come and lie. I'm going to say, Rupert, please do it this way.
Right.
And then we're going to have a victory, because I think everyone wants to have.
And you're going.
I don't think the Democrats should throw around the term election interference as much as Republicans do. It blows my mind that every Republican I talk to says stolen election, rigged election, so we shouldn't do this. But this is verging on election interference. We have the former president going on television and pressuring the media not to cover him negatively, pressuring the media not to play ads from the other candidate. He wants to create this one-sided ecosystem. He wants to be a dictator, and this further proves it. If Donald Trump had the power, do you think he would direct Fox News? If Donald Trump were the president right now and he had the unilateral decision to tell Fox News to stop or he will strip their broadcast licensing, do you think he would do it? I think he would. I think he would threaten them. Here's Trump getting asked about Nikki Haley.
Of the Republican Party that likes Nikki Haley, and they are reluctant to jump into your column. She wants to help. She said, if he calls me, I'm there. You guys used to be tight. In the last 18 days, will you call her and say, come out with me?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, so do you think, A, Donald Trump is going to say, yeah, of course, I want to build a coalition where we all come together. I'm building a movement where everybody is welcome. Or B, does he word salad, repeat Nikki Haley's name 4 times while being divisive? Take a guess.
What I have to do. But let me just tell you, Nikki Haley and I fought, and I beat her by 50, 60, 90 points. I beat her in her own state by numbers that nobody's ever been beaten by. I beat Nikki badly. I beat everyone else, too, badly. Frankly, I set records, both in speed and in the magnitude of the win. And everybody keeps saying that. They don't say get Ron, and Ron did very well. But again, I beat everybody by numbers that have never happened before. And they keep talking about Nikki. I like Nikki. Nikki, I don't think should have done what she did, and that's fine that she did it. But even in her own state,
she shouldn't have done what she did, which means she shouldn't have even slightly dissented from Donald Trump. In the same way that Mike Pence didn't do what needed to be done. And the thing that I'm seeing right here is that Donald Trump is a terrible campaigner. In order to win, you want to build the broadest coalition possible. That is why President Biden won in 2020. He is very good at coalition building, and that's a function of his decades and decades of experience within U.S. politics. Kamala Harris is good at coalition building, and when she gets asked the same question, she has a more tactful answer. Kamala Harris always says, regarding Nikki Haley or regarding Liz Cheney or even the most extreme MAGA Republicans, we are creating a pro-America movement for everybody. We are creating a pro-democracy movement where everybody is welcome, no matter if you voted Trump in 2020, no matter if you're an undecided voter, if you're a Nikki Haley Republican or a Liz Cheney Republican, you are welcome in our movement. Meanwhile, Donald Trump does basically the opposite. He gets asked, and he said in about 5 different ways, I beat her. I beat her in a way that nobody's ever seen. I beat her by 50, 60, 90 points. He then continues to say, I beat her, never leaving an opportunity for Nikki Haley voters to welcome or join the movement, whatsoever. Here is another ridiculous clip. Sorry about the quality of this clip, but it's fine.
You know it. So can you give people out there who you're going to be making a rough, you could easily punt on this question, I hope you won't, an idea of what your team will look like?
Well, a lot of the people that you had last night will be a part of it. We had some tremendous people. In that room really had some great people.
Wait, Cardinal Dolan?
Oh, I'd put him in, right?
Right?
Honestly, and he looked good. He lost weight. He looked nice and thin. I said, what are you doing?
He's the nicest guy, isn't he?
Right? No, he's a great guy, and that's why I did it to a large... You know, by the way, he called me during COVID, and he said the Catholic Church needs billions of dollars to keep the school going.
Was this before or after Vladimir Putin called you and begged you for some tests?
Schools are, you know, they run great schools. And I got him the money during COVID, and I think it meant a lot to him. I think it meant a lot to the Catholic people. I got him $1.7 billion. And they had a great school system.
It's insane to me that Donald Trump prioritized Vladimir Putin during the pandemic. Sorry, that's off topic. I'm just thinking about Donald Trump giving aid to people who asked during the pandemic, but refusing to help the American people. In fact, downplaying it to the American people.
During COVID, and they kept it open.
I know I did a feature with him then. I know you're doing the weave, so you always come back. So just to the question, can you throw some names out of the people?
I thought I got out of it.
No, you told me the weave. You told me about the weave.
No, it's all about the weave. You know, sometimes I get, they say, it's either genius, it's so brilliant, I go from here, and then but you always come right back to where it's supposed to be.
It's not brilliant, and what he's saying is barely even coherent when trying to explain the weave.
About the weave.
No, it's all about the weave. You know, sometimes I get, they say, it's either genius, it's so brilliant, I go
Who says that? Who says that, Trump?
from here, and then but you always come right back to where it's supposed to be.
I just want you to complete
Some say
your
it's
weave.
total genius. Some say, well, what's going on here? No, it's pretty good.
Either way, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like. Some say I make the best videos on YouTube. They've been saying for a while that we have the best channel and the best community. Some say that nobody can compete with this community we've built, and they've been saying that we are going to win this election. So make sure you guys drop a like. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out.